Reverse Bidenomics.
It's the wet blanket on our economy.
We're going to extend those tax cuts.
They need to stop the borrowing. They need to
What is the first thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Drill, baby, drill. We were energy independent. We were soon going to be energy dominant. And these stupid fools ended it.
We need to lower your gas prices. We're going to open up all energy production. We will be energy dominant again in this country.
You drill for more, you increase the supply, and guess what's going to happen? We're going to be able to bring those prices down.
Unlock American energy. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. The anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy.
The $1.2 trillion of Green New Deal spending buried in the Inflation Creation Act is something that is just subsidizing China.
Biden's made a decision to go with the Green New Deal and pursue that agenda. That is not an agenda that is going to help us reduce inflation.
Bidenomics has led to the loss of $10,000 of spending power for the average family. We can stop that by turning the spigot off at Washington, sending the money back to the states.
Government spending under Joe Biden has gone completely out of control. One of the first things I would do as president is to say we are imposing fiscal discipline again in this country.
The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us, too. You have Ron DeSantis, you've got Tim Scott, you've got Mike Pence. They all voted to raise the debt, and Donald Trump added $8 trillion to our debt.
I was the first person in this race to say that we've got to deal with the long-term national debt issues. You got people on this stage that won't even talk about issues like Social Security and Medicare.
Would entitlement cuts be on the table?
I think what it would be is promise made, promise kept. I think looking forward in terms of future generations, people of our generation, you got to sit down, you got to work in a bipartisan way and develop a solution for the long term.
What I'd want to do is sit down with the actuaries and say, at each different age point, that we would change the retirement age, how much would it save us?
When the government at the state or the federal level, when we make a commitment to someone, then that's a solemn commitment, and we have to honor the people that are in that.
Any candidate that says they're not going to touch entitlements means that they're basically going to go into office and then leave America bankrupt. We don't touch anyone's retirement or anyone who's been promised in, but we go to people like my kids in their 20s when they're coming into the system, and we say the rules have changed.
We created the greatest economy in history. A big part of that economy was got you the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country.
Current rates that are due to expire, we want to keep those rates in place.
Those cuts going.
We don't want to see increases in taxes.
When I'm president of the United States, we're actually going to cut taxes further. We're going to extend those tax cuts, and we're going to close the Federal Department of Education, block grant all that funding back to the states.
The only war that I will declare as U.S. president will be the war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations.
The reinstitution of all these regulations, it's just a job killer.
You've got to stop that over-regulation at the federal level, just like we have done as governors, to unleash business.
We're going to take all the executive orders and the regulations that Biden has done, and we're going to rip them out.
I have a plan called Made in America that will create millions of jobs, get our growth back to 5% where it needs to be in order for us to reduce our debt, and then control our spending by focusing on what is our responsibility.